the MVP should have went to Giannis the first time he got it. It should have went to Embiid last year, and this year he should get the MVP. But if you see how elusively the MVP that MVP competition and the award winner avoids the championship. Very rarely do the guy who won the championship be the MVP.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner. And AEW Double or Nothing is taking place. Don't know the results, but he is the Darby Allin to my Sting, because I don't know how much longer Sting has, Mike, but I'm going to enjoy it. It's like my Larry Bird. I didn't appreciate him until it was too late. So the icon, the showstopper, the main event, the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, how are you on this wind-up Wednesday? And yes, I did a Sting reset because I think he's like the last great star wrestling for that. Well, Jericho's still around.
Jericho's still around. How you doing, sir?
Stealing money.
I'm good. Stop.
I ain't mad at him. No. He just attaches himself just like Dusty used to like every young star, and he's just stretching that career out. And there is nothing wrong with that, not one bit. All right, so fan, we were supposed to do a full NBA Finals preview, but now we're paused. So we're going to be making predictions instead of Finals preview. The Bucks and the Wizards are making moves, and we're going to talk about the WNBA. But Mike, Boston, Miami is going to a Game 7. This episode comes out on Wednesday. Game 7 will take place Monday. But let me get this out of the way so then you can calm me down. As I have said throughout the playoffs, Boston clearly has a better team than anyone that's left, because they've got 2 of the top 10 players in the league, according to All NBA. Okay, you got 2 All NBA guys. You should be able to beat Jimmy and the Miracles. Okay, you should be able to beat Jimmy and 4 backup centers. Miami clearly has the better coach, as we have said. Spo can go. Spo knows what he's doing. And as Tom Dickman, my mentor, my man, once said, you just got to keep hanging around. So if the game's close, I'm always going to go against the Celtics. So in Game 6, game was close. Miami kind of almost pulled it out. Didn't box out on the offside. So now we have a Game 7. So Mike, 2 questions. One, who's going to win? And then can either of those teams who win play with the Nuggets? What do you think, sir?
Let's toss up between who wins. Celtics should be able to close these guys out. You would think they would be able to close them out. But for some reason Miami can't. That last possession, that last box out. I mean, the guy, he was an inbounder. So they turn it back to the inbounder, right? Like, follow me.
He's the most dangerous guy.
So that was, I don't know. You can't blame Spo for that. You can't say it's coaching on that point, but that's just situational.
Did you see the
awareness.
play they drew up, Mike? Yeah. Did you see that play? You drew up a play for Marcus Smart? No slight to Marcus Smart. I'm not drawing a play.
Was everybody else fouled out?
Okay. All right. So with that, fans, I want to move to Denver because they deserve their flowers. But they haven't played. And that's a long gap. And historically speaking, in the NBA, fans, you're used to playing. You got a tempo, you got a speed. And no matter what you do at practice, it's not an NBA Finals playoff game. You're just trying not to get hurt. You're doing a lot of shooting. You're doing a lot of situational stuff. Mike, how would you keep the Nuggets sharp? Because no matter who they play in Game 1, I'm probably picking the team who's been playing.
Well, we scrimmaging every other day. When I say scrimmage, I mean walk through every other day. We're going to walk through the inbounds plays. We're going to come in and get shots up. Can't really watch a lot of film. I would maybe watch the key situations for both teams. Like, let's go 4th quarters. So we watch the 4th quarter together probably to see how, what adjustments been made, or maybe the first and the third to see if guys made adjustments. But that's it. I got to keep them off their feet because I don't know what, you know, to win this one, well, we know for sure now it's game 7. So I would ramp it up on what I'm doing to try to get them in the rhythm right now. But I wouldn't get it to where it could cause an injury or anything.
Yeah, and conditioning is an issue. So you gotta keep them running, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep them moving, but you
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep them away from contact. So
We might
um,
be on the treadmill, we might be in the pool, like water aerobics, something, you know?
yeah. So I've got Denver and Boston in the finals. And the only reason why I have Denver and Boston, because Boston's clearly the better team. And for the first time in history, I'm calling a team coming back from 3-0. But Denver is clearly a better team and better coached and better in sync than Boston is. But out of respect for the NBA Finals and some strange whistles, as my partner has said over the years, I got Denver in 6. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Denver definitely. If Miami wins, it's a sweep by Denver. If the Celtics wins, it could be, 5 games.
Ooh, okay.
Because Denver just can't. I mean, they got too much. They got if Murray's pretty good. First of all, they got the best player in basketball right now. I don't want to hear about nobody else. You can't convince me. Like the MVP should have went to Giannis the first time he got it. It should have went to Embiid last year, and this year he should get the MVP. But if you see how elusively the MVP, that MVP competition and the award winner avoids the championship. Very rarely do the guy who won the championship be the MVP. Like how often is, you know what I mean? Like if you see that,
I
like, and
understand.
that's when they should be MVP the most, when they lead their team to the championship.
All right. So finally, in this first segment, fans, LeBron James had some comments. Wanted to give my partner's thoughts on them. So the 38-year-old continues to play at a high level, but he had hinted at retirement, and some pundits in the media were kind of upset that he brought that up because it kind of took the shine off of Denver. Mike, what do you think? Did that take the shine off of Denver, or this is no story and we were looking for something?
No story. He can't take the shine off Denver. I don't think Denver cared. Like, first of all, like they've been receiving this. Oh yeah, all they've had was the best record in basketball, and nobody talking about them. Okay, don't talk about me. That's cool. Leave me alone.
They're going to talk about it as they hosted the
Exactly.
lucky
I just,
beat.
yeah.
All right, fans. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the Wizards and the Bucks making moves and seeing if my partner's in agreement or disagreement with some of the moves they're making. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The high school and college academic and athletic landscape is changing. The growing number of college transfers, as well as student athletes being able to profit off the use of their name, image, and likeness, has given student athletes the freedom and power to make life-changing decisions. That is why it is important for student athletes to be properly informed throughout the decision-making process. The difference between success and failure is often measured not by yards, but by inches, and even the most successful coaches and players use outside independent consultants to help improve their decision-making, which improves their results. That is what the CKA Save Project would like to do for student athletes across the country, improve their academic and athletic results. Our academic and athletic consulting services assist student athletes with the college decision-making process. The CKA team of former high school and college coaches can provide student athletes an independent assessment of their academic and athletic skills to assist student athletes in their college decision-making process. Let the CKA team evaluate your academic and athletic ability to assist you in finding the right fit for your academic and athletic career. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 2. Before we talk about the Bucks and the Wizards, I want to say I'm rooting for this kid. So the NBA's fitness to play panel has cleared Kansas State's guard Keontae Johnson and allow him to be selected in the June NBA draft. The NBA teams were informed that Johnson was cleared in a memo. As you remember, he had some issues with
What
his
happened?
health when he was at Florida. This was about 2 years ago, Mike, I believe. And Florida
Yeah, he
kept him
had the
on scholarship, had the heart condition, and then he went through a battery of tests, and he was able to play last year at Kansas State. He is an NBA talent,
mhm.
um, and now he's got full medical clearance, and maybe he could be a Wizard. I don't know. But I'm rooting for this kid. I remember the story a couple of years ago, and when that came across my desk, I definitely wanted to acknowledge him. I know it's been hard, and to get that clearance from the NBA, because there's a lot of guys that have issues and they just don't get the clearance. So good luck to him. Good
Mhm.
luck to him. So now let's talk about the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks have hired their coach. According to media reports, they've hired Toronto Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin. Griffin began his NBA coaching career in Milwaukee as he served as an assistant from '08 to 2010. He spent time with the Bulls, the Magic, Oklahoma City, Toronto. He has the experience needed as an assistant. This is the first time he's going to move over 19 inches to the big chair, so to speak. Giannis put him over, and I think that helps. Griffin spent 4 years as Nick Nurse's top assistant. And I'm surprised Toronto didn't just move him over if that was the case. He has a reputation for player development, including his work with Jimmy Butler and Pascal Siakam. So, what do you think about the Bucks making the first time hire with all of this luxury car type talent?
I think it's good. I think it's very good, especially if the players put him over, as you said. Like you got guys in there who want to play for him. That's what it is at the end of the day. And you talk about why they didn't move him over. They probably didn't move him over. Maybe he didn't want to. Like you got to understand, guys. He might have denied. Who knows? They didn't offer it to him. You know what I mean? They may have offered in a position, but because the way it was handled with the previous coach, maybe felt like that wasn't something he wanted to do. Because then you follow him, you can't do nothing but win. When you get rid of a guy who's won a championship, if you don't win a championship, you're the next to go.
Okay.
You got to watch when you take jobs, man. Every job, at the point I took a job, it was at its lowest.
Yes.
Couldn't get any worse.
Couldn't get any worse. All right. So now the Washington Wizards, our home local team, as we're based out of the District, Maryland, and Virginia, they hired LA Clippers general manager Michael Winger to be president of Monumental Basketball, which delivers him, Mike, full leadership of the Washington Wizards. He will also oversee the Washington Mystics and the G League's Go-Go. Winger had become the interest of him. It was between him and Trajan Langdon. And he just has a reputation of being a keen strategist, a deal maker, and a relationship builder. So here's how he got here. After arriving from Oklahoma City in 2017, he played an integral part in reshaping the Clippers franchise under President of Basketball Operations Lawrence Frank and Steve Ballmer, and they wanted him to stay. This guy has full authority to set the course for the Wizards franchise, including hiring a GM level basketball executive and making decisions on the roster, the coach, and the staff. Remember, Wes Unseld Jr. is expected to be back for his third season, but Winger will move to make significant front office hirings. And this starts with the 8th pick in June 22nd's NBA draft. Wizards have missed the playoffs for 4 out of 5 seasons, and they got nothing. Okay, they got nothing. Bradley Beal's under contract for 4 years, $200 million. He holds a no trade clause in his contract. You got Kristaps Porzingis, you got Kyle Kuzma. What do you think about the hire for the Wizards, Mike?
I'm hoping some fresh blood, some new blood in there. I'm tired of the mom and pop Wizards we used to our whole life. Like I'm surprised it wasn't an Unseld or somebody.
Well, hold on, Mike. Before his 7 years of working with the Thunder, he was an executive with the Cleveland Cavaliers under Danny Ferry from 2005 to 2010. So you still got a little Bill Perry family involved here. So,
Oh, like, yeah, but did Cleveland win a championship during that time?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
And I don't think the Clippers won a championship either.
Hmm.
But they did it. They had Kawhi. They had playoff P.
All right, let's go segment 3.
All right. No, we're not to segment 3 yet.
Okay.
We're going to give you one more story, sir.
Don't
This
do that.
came across my feed late, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Would you sell the gear? Utah Jazz legend Karl Malone recently auctioned off 24 pieces of memorabilia from the 1992 Dream Team, game-used jerseys, sneakers from all 12 members for the tune of $5 million. One,
You need the money.
how can you need the money when you're Karl Malone and you had auto dealers, you were making money in the league, So would you have sold the items though?
Man, they sell them every day. My son sells everything he ever had, University of Maryland, and everything he had. Not everything, but a great deal of everything, game worn stuff that he's got, gloves and shoes, and he's been doing it forever. Like he's been doing it since he left college. The minute he left college, he graduated with his master's and went into the proceedings of being drafted. That's when he started selling everything.
Okay. All right. So fans,
So
I have
still
some
does.
Keith Adams memorabilia from my career at Pay Branch High School, and they're not for sale. They're not for sale. No one cares anyway. But Mike, are you selling your Mike Francis Meade High School?
I'm selling anything where if the money right.
I can't give up.
The memorabilia don't pay the bill.
No, it doesn't. And student loans are coming.
It's
All
hard.
right. And the segment 3, we're going to switch to the WNBA. Got to get Mike's comments on a recently cut member who said some things about some veterans. And Las Vegas is kicking it all over the place. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back, fans. My partner's not a fan. Trajan Langdon is the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans. So, in case you wanted to know, he's building the monster down there with Zion. But anyway, in segment 3, I want to get Mike's thoughts on Alexis Morris. So, former LSU basketball star Alexis Morris apologized for her criticism of WNBA veterans, which include calling on players over the age of 35 to retire. The 5'9" guard was selected by the Connecticut Suns, but were waived for the season. A week later, as teams cut even more rookies, Morris took to Twitter to criticize older WNBA players for remaining in the league too long and taking up roster spots. Morris, who won the 2023 NCAA title with LSU, since deleted tweets said, and I quote, "The vets gotta go. The vets gotta know when to cut the net and pass the torch, bro. If you knock it at 35, hang it up. I mean, wired hanger. Hang it up." The rookie's comments were met with swift backlash, and she apologized on social media platforms. So before we talk about roster size and our continued concerns, How are you reacting to that, and how would you advise the young scholar?
Hope she got her degree. You can't do that, man. You can't. And then you think now somebody gonna sign you?
What
Come
about the
on.
passion? What about the passion, the fire? Passion.
All right. Hope she got a degree. Use that passion, whatever you study, and get you a
She's going
nice
to travel
job.
overseas.
Oh, gotta go overseas. She got the attitude. She gotta go overseas. Yeah, she got to. She'll be playing in Russia or something.
All right. So roster size concerns are still an issue. Washington Mystics guard Natasha Cloud and others have called on the league to expand roster sizes or the number of teams to accommodate more players. The 12-team league caps rosters at 12 players, and we've talked about the 144 the entire time.
Why not make it 15?
I think they should expand the rosters and then have some type of development or whatever. But you need more than 144. That's well obvious. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We had more than 144 good kids, women playing in college last year. Like, let's be honest. Like the way women's college basketball is becoming so competitive, you can't 24 kids out of everybody get cut. Like 15 of the 36 made it.
Yeah, maybe they don't dress, but something has to happen.
Yeah, but only 15 of the 36 made it. Like, let's think about that. So that's all those kids that got drafted didn't make it. Less 20 kids. That's enough for two teams. 21 girls, females, ladies, excuse me.
That can play.
Right. They were good enough to get drafted, so we shouldn't have expansion. It should be two teams.
All right, Gabby Williams. So I wanted to follow up on this story, Mike. Restricted free agent Gabby Williams has yet to decide whether to play in the WNBA this season after having her contract suspended by her French club due to the new league's prioritization rule. In 2023, the WNBA season is an option, but not a certainty for her. She suffered a concussion in the French playoffs. Seattle holds her rights. We talked last week about prioritization, and now it's in play, and people have to adjust. Should Williams decide not to play in the WNBA season this year, the Storm will retain her rights for next season. So, Mike, the WNBA season's 35, 40 games, and we're 4 or 5 games into the season. So that's almost a significant amount of time. Should she come back, or would you advise her?
Why not come back? Why not? You're not contract wise, she's not gonna make the full amount of her contract anyway, but I would come back. I would.
And she's a good ball player. She's 36. Right. She started all 36 games. She's talking about the French national team, but the Olympics are not until 2024. But France will participate in this year's Eurobasket, which will be held June 15th through 25th in Israel and Slovenia. But France, since they're hosting the games, they don't need to qualify. I don't know. Hopefully, she can get some run in, and yeah. All right, so let's get to our first of the season OCP top 5. Las Vegas is number 1, and Mike, they have a plus 26 scoring differential right now. They scored 97 points at this taping, and their opponents have scored 71. I think they're off to a very good.
I think they're doing pretty good, bro.
We have Connecticut at number 2, Dallas number 3, Chicago number 4, and Washington number 5. But clearly, Las Vegas has come out of the blocks, ready to play, and good luck in beating them. And I think Becky Hammond is a little irritated now that she's back on the sidelines. They may have the players locked in a little more than usual. All right, our games of the week, Friday.
How did that even come about, though?
What, the Becky Hammond piece?
Yeah, her suspension.
Well, we'll talk about it after, because I have it on my last notes as we close out. So Friday, June 2nd, New York Liberty against the Chicago Sky. Saturday, June 3rd, Seattle versus Los Angeles. I did check out Ion Television. Nice graphics. It looks like a WNBA game. So, okay. And I also watched the WNBA on CBS, and they did a nice job. So I'm all right with it. But Mike, to answer your question, finally, with Becky Hammon back on the sidelines for the first time, the Las Vegas Aces received their 2022 WNBA championship rings. And since they played Los Angeles, former player Derica Hamby was there, who was traded. She had mentioned, he'd been the player who had mentioned that she was treated in an unprofessional and unethical way due to her pregnancy. The crowd at the Michelob Ultra Arena gave her a warm ovation. She was presented with her ring, got a hug from both WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and Aces owner Mark Davis. And Aja Wilson, star, was very happy to see her. It was good to see her. We don't win the ring without her. So that's how we got there. The ceremony went off without a hitch. And then the Aces beat the Sparks and carried on with their day. So that's how we got there.
And carried on with their day.
And carried on with their day. But Becky Hammon said she should have been suspended. She took the suspension, and we'll move forward with it. Any final thoughts before we close, sir?
No final thoughts. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the games. That's about it.
Yeah, and again, Ion Television did a nice job. CBS did a nice job. I have watched it. Actually, Point Five and I were watching the New York Liberty take on, I think it was Chicago. So, all right. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the iCoaches podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The iCoaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The iCoaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the iCoaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the iCoaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at iCoaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the iCoaches podcast.